New York City has been called the epicenter of the pandemic with more than 185,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases. Healthcare volunteers from around the country came to New York to help out. And you won't believe this. They're now going to have to pay for it. Because of New York's tax code, health workers that volunteered to come to New York during the pandemic have to pay state income taxes. Governor Andrew Cuomo could change that, but listen to what he said.
We're not in a position to provide any more subsidies right now because we have a $13 billion deficit. So there's a lot of good things I would like to do. And if we get federal funding, we can do. But it would be irresponsible for me to sit here looking at a $13 billion deficit and say I'm going to spend more money on when I can't even pay the essential services.
Well, does Governor Cuomo have a point, or should he waive the taxes on healthcare workers that came there? Joining us is the former governor of New York, George Pataki. He's the author of Beyond the Great Divide, How a Nation Became a Neighborhood. Governor, welcome.
Thank you, Sean. Nice being on with you.
All right, I want to get to the book in a moment, but first of all, I can't imagine it's that much money. New York had about a $6 billion debt before this. It racked up roughly another $7 billion during this pandemic. But is it as simple as that he says it would be irresponsible? Because I think it would be compassionate. You ask people to come to New York to help out the people of New York, and now you're saying, hey, if you got a stipend, we're going to tax you on it. So I don't really know that I think that it may not, like for him to say this is irresponsible doesn't make sense. It would be compassionate, caring, and the right thing to do.
Sean, for him to say that he can't do this is ridiculous. First of all, you ask people to come. You need their help in a time of crisis. And out of the goodness of their hearts, they're coming from around the country to help New York through this crisis, risking their lives. And then you say, oh, by the way, we're going to send you a tax bill. It is absurd. It makes no sense. It will have virtually zero impact on Governor Cuomo's budget deficits, which, as you indicated, were more than $6 billion before the virus even hit. And Sean, there's precedent for this. On September 11th, in the days and months after that, we had thousands of volunteers from across the country come in, offer their services. They were at ground zero 24 hours a day helping out. We never sent them a tax bill. It's just an absurd abuse of government power to penalize people you should be thanking.
And now Governor Pataki, he's even saying that if the federal government gives him more money, then he won't make them pay, kind of using this as those healthcare workers as a favor on his side. So it's very interesting. But something else that Governor Cuomo has taken a lot of heat for is his handling of nursing homes in New York. Over 5,300 people have died in those nursing homes so far. You have called for a private investigation of his handling of those nursing homes. He made a statement on Sunday saying the nursing homes no longer have to take COVID-19 patients. But what do you hope to find from your investigation?
Lindsay, that policy was one of the dumbest policies I think any governor has ever instituted in America. At the height of the crisis, March 25th, he orders nursing homes to take COVID positive patients. And by the way, says if they're coming from a hospital and they've been tested, you can't ask whether or not they're COVID positive. The nursing homes weren't able to handle this. They weren't ready for this. The most vulnerable in our society for COVID virus, as we all know, is senior citizens, and the most vulnerable of those are the weak in nursing homes. And yet for 47 days, this was his insisted upon policy. And over 5,000 deaths later, just the last day or so, he finally says, whoops, this was a blunder. We should change it. Of course, not by admitting it was a mistake. And we should investigate this. Why did they do this? What were the consequences of doing this? No other state should ever go through this type of mistake again when it costs thousands of our most vulnerable their lives. And I don't trust the state to investigate the state. We need a federal investigation as to why this happened and why it should not happen again.
That's right. Governor, you were governor of New York during 9/11. You write in your book about how the nation came together. You spoke a little bit about that a moment ago in terms of the people coming. You talk about this in the book, but why is this time different? Why are we not coming together?
Sean, that's one of the saddest things about this. After September 11th, Americans came together in a way that I've never seen in my lifetime. It had to be like after Pearl Harbor. We weren't Republicans, Democrats, rich, poor, old, young, black, white. We were Americans, and we've been attacked. And my hope out of this catastrophe, this COVID virus catastrophe, is that people would put aside the pettiness, the partisan politics, and just finally say, all right, we're in this together. We have another crisis. Let's work together to solve this, put it behind us. But sadly, that hasn't been the case. I'm just really disheartened by the partisanship. We just saw again with the absurd prosecution of General Flynn, and finally the Justice Department comes along and says, well, this was a mistake. There was no case here. And yet Attorney General Barr's comments are completely distorted on major media stations for partisan benefit. Sean, I have to say, I fault the media for a lot of this. They don't look for solutions. They look for division and anything they can get across that might hurt President Trump's reelection prospects. And it's a disservice to the American people, whether you like President Trump or not.
Right. Well, Governor, thank you for being with us. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, and congratulations on the book.
Thank you, Sean.
All right, well, the 2020 election campaign is in full swing as Joe Biden continues to campaign from his basement. Some are saying that by him staying out of the spotlight, it's giving him an advantage. That story is next. Plus, coming up, reporters battle the president and each other at the White House press briefing. You don't want to miss this. Stick with us.